Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or if you're watching from Facebook or Instagram or even Twitter. My name is Irene and thank you so much for joining me for yet another episode of the devotionals. Today I'm going to share about my struggles with my appearance, my physical appearance, and how I have overcome, because I overcome daily. And before I start, I'm going to read from Psalm 139 and verse 14, and it says, I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. I am sure that growing up, or even at whatever stage of life you might be, you have encountered a problem of comparing yourself, or feeling insufficient, or feeling like you lack something, but that is because you're actually comparing yourself to somebody else who might seem like they've got it all together. And when I was growing up, I used to struggle so much with the way that I appeared, which is funny because right now I am confident in who I am, in who God has made me to be, not only physically, with looking good and all, but also spiritually, because I know that I have been made by God. He knit me together in my mother's womb, and He knows me. Everything about me, physically, emotionally, biologically, has been intricately put together, as He says in still Psalm 139, that you knit me together in my mother's womb. Now, when He says that, it means that He knit us together. But we know that He doesn't just make the body, no, He makes the soul and He makes the spirit. And for me, I now know that I have been made by God and He knows me. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and she was saying, she doesn't feel like the temperament that she has allows her, not allows her, but the temperament that she has is a bit laid back, phlegmatics. That's how we are sometimes. And many times I have had people, tell me, why aren't you more outgoing? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? So I find that I will not be comfortable with who I am, and I will want to be somebody else. And I'm not against striving to be better, but being better and being or wanting to be someone different from what God made you to be are two different things. In Genesis 1:27, the Bible reminds us that when God was creating and it was time to create man, what did He say? He said, let us make man in our own image. And you, my friend, are the closest reflection there is in all creation to God. When someone looks at you, they are seeing the closest reflection of God, because you are made in the image of God. And I pray that it is a reminder for you to embrace who you are. We are all made different, and environment, genetics, countries, continents, they all make us different. But one thing we have in common is that we have been made in the image of the one true God. And for me, when I found that out, it was no longer an issue. I didn't have to struggle with, I don't feel small enough, I don't feel pretty enough, my maybe cheeks are too big, or I'm too fat. No, because I knew what was on the inside was the image of God. And I'd like to encourage you out there. If you are going through a hard time, might not be as hard, but it's those daily moments when you look at a billboard, or you look at a magazine, or you look at a lady or a man on TV, and you're like, wow, they're really, really, really good looking. But whose standard is that? Because God is saying you are made in His image. And if we try to compare ourselves to the people out there who have 100, a team of 100 people who do their makeup, and all they do all day is work out, and some people naturally have small bodies, and You don't need to compare yourself to feel validated. The Bible says in 1 Peter 3:3 to 4 that we should adorn ourselves. We shouldn't focus so much on adorning ourselves, the beautiful hairstyles, the garments, or even the jewelry, but we should adorn our spirit person, because that humble spirit is what is precious to God. So even as you feel insufficient physically, why are you feeling that way? Do you know who God has made you to be? Do you know that you carry the image of the Most High God? The Bible says, David says in the Psalms, that God has made us a little lower than the angels, and He knows us, and He loves us. He loves you, and He has called you special. He has called you by name, and He loves you. And let me tell you something, everything about you was for a purpose. The way that you are made, how you look physically, your mental processing, the character, the temperament that you possess, it is all a plan for God to fulfill His purpose on this earth through your life. So do not change who you are. You can become better. You have to become better, because then if we stay the same, remember when Paul said that desire, the food that is solid, and get away from milk, because while you are babies, you ate baby food, but now you eat solid food. And that means that as life goes on, we grow, we change, but we do not take up, someone else's life. So the question is, how do you become a better you? How do you improve yourself? Even physically, I love working out. So I'm not against you looking good and fly and fit and all, but that shouldn't be at the expense of who you are on the inside, because your spirit is more precious to God than your body. So sometimes I'll be working out, and I'll remember I'm going to work out for 1 hour, and I haven't spent even 30 minutes in the presence of God, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I won't work out. Let me go to the presence of God. And that should be priority. So what are you focusing your energies on? Is it your spirit? Are you focusing on who God has made you to be and growing that person? And I'd like to encourage you, you are not a mistake. God does not make mistakes. He is perfect. He is good, and He says every good and perfect gift comes from Him. So even as you look at yourself, look in the mirror and say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and your works, O Lord, are marvelous, and this my soul knows very well. And rest in the fact that you are known by God. You are made for a purpose, and everything about you is not a mistake. I have big feet. I love them. Sometimes, of course, it's hard to find shoes, but hey, maybe God gave me big feet so that I can walk more. I don't know, but I believe it's for a purpose. So the way that He has made us is not a mistake. It is all to fulfill a purpose, and I pray that you are reminded of this and encouraged of that. May God bless you. I hope this has encouraged you in some way. Don't forget to click, like, subscribe, and share with your friends and people that you think and know